Hello, everybody. Welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. We've multiplied the tiers from Wednesday night, and we're going to look forward. We have the fixture list that's been released on Thursday morning, the exciting Carabao Cup draw, and we have our second signing of the season, our first signing of the week, coming late Thursday evening. So thank you to the club for announcing that before we start recording. We appreciate it. We will cover all that. I don't know if we'll get. If anybody didn't watch it, we did an instant reaction on Icky and Smith leaving on YouTube. So if you want to go and have a look at that, I don't know whether we'll cover that tonight. We will see. We'll see if we cover it a bit more later on. I don't know. See how we feel. Mick, how are we doing on this hot Thursday evening?
Yeah, hot. I'm going to try and look bothered tonight because I was told last night that I tried really, really hard to not look bothered, despite not. Can we
address the fact that one of the Wednesday fans referred to you as right wing Mick?
Well, you see, I'm not. The irony of that is not lost on me. Judging somebody on their appearance, skinhead, by calling them right wing. I mean, what can I say? I don't know where that came from. That
was really weird. I really enjoyed it, though.
They've got Miller Mick. He is right wing.
I mean, I have played there in my time, occasionally, many, many years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you want some therapy on that, go back and watch that because it's. I don't know what it is, to be honest with you.
Therapy is one word for it.
Yeah, therapy is one word. But we can move on because we have a championship season to look forward to. Not everybody does, and you've got to bear that in mind when looking at these kind of things. Danny's with us. Danny, I should have introduced you to start with. I forgot to introduce you. Thank you for joining us, Danny.
No worries at all. I'm still having a quiet giggle to myself about how many whoppers we caught last night on that podcast. Good grief. I think we had a fair number watching live, and I think roughly 75% of them were Wednesday fans, which was quite funny. But it's all right now. We've got an absolutely exquisite signing through the door. We've got our championship fixture list, and we've got the Carabao Cup. We don't have to faff about with the EFL trophy anymore. We will stay champions until the next time we compete in that trophy, because it doesn't matter who follows the team that's been promoted winning it, does it? Because technically, it's still ours, isn't it?
Still ours. Yeah. That's what the world seems to be doing, following Rotherham. We win the trophy, everyone else just tries and wins it. It's just how things work. Let's see what we've got with us. We've got John Inchler with us, Gav Grundy, Stephen Thomas, Rhys Kellick, Theo Liversidge, Kim Haywood, Scott Grundy's with us, S64 Miller, Powmad, Harvey Kelwick, Russ Vernon, Oliver Out, Paul Brock. There's loads of you with us tonight. It's nice. I'm not going to lie. I know there are less people tonight, which I enjoy because I think you're all Rotherham fans, which I'm quite enjoying. Last night we did lots of other people. So it's nice to have a Rotherham chat today. It will be just Rotherham United stuff. So let's start with the fixture list. I'm excited.
What league is that for, Matt?
I think, let me just check. Hang on, bear with. It says Sky Bet Championship.
Right. Ooh. Okay. Right. Are we in that?
That's the second division of English football, not the third, right?
I think so. Like we said, we're glad there's no Wednesday fans out. We're just putting jokes out to try and wind Wednesday fans up now. Brill. But yeah, how excited? We'll go into some more detail, Mick, but how excited? Just looking at the thing is with fixture lists, technically it means nothing when they're released, but it is sort of exciting to look at the fixtures that are coming when they are and things such as that. Or are you misery guts?
No, I'm not. No, to be honest with you, and this sounds really ridiculous. I'm almost loath to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. It feels like our rightful place now because of the work that's been done at this club over the last 12 years. It feels like the place where we deserve to be. In my mind, I know I'm biased, and I know it's a bit pathetic and whatever else you want to call it. But the club itself, not necessarily the team, and not the on-pitch side of it necessarily, but certainly the off-pitch side of it. It's a championship club. There's no question about that in my mind. We're just going to make it happen on the pitch and try and consolidate our place in the league that I think is where we should be. I'm happy with it. It's fantastic. It's great to look down that list and see the teams of the calibre that we're going to be playing this season. It's brilliant. It's a massive club.
Massive. Absolutely massive. There are some issues with it. Brian Vernon points out, and I've picked up on all of these. Burnley, Preston North End, and Sunderland all midweek away games. This will be the third time in a row that we've played Sunderland away and a midweek game whenever we've played them. And I struggle to get to away games. I've still not been to Sunderland because we keep playing them midweek. And that's really frustrating me, that. But I suppose there's no pompies on midweek, Danny, and I suppose that's a trade-off for them, maybe.
Yeah, and I mean, the last two midweeks away at Sunderland, we've drawn them both 1-1, haven't we? So maybe third time's the charm. But I'm absolutely gutted with Sunderland because it's on a Wednesday, which means I can't go because I'm at work and B, I'm at work day after, which is a shame. And it's the day after my birthday, which is also a shame, which means I can't go. But I tell you what, Birmingham at home, weekend before my birthday, that should be nice. Nice and tasty, that one. But yeah, it's good that we haven't got. Well, I think Sunderland's probably the longest midweek we've got so far, barring any changes to anything due to cup fixtures and stuff. Burnley and Preston's not too bad because they're only over the Pennines in Lancashire, which isn't too bad. I think we've got quite lucky with midweek away days. There's only Sunderland, and it's like, well, enough of us.
It's Blackpool midweek. No, that's in home in February. That's away in February. A lovely February day in Blackpool. Let me fancy that.
Well, we did October last time, didn't we? There's not much difference.
True, that's true.
But I do like the Championship this season because it all seems like weirdly compact. You know, there's no like massive outliers like there was with Plymouth and Portsmouth and such. I'd probably say Sunderland is the biggest outlier of the lot because everybody else has got motorways nearby, which is nice. They're not like Ipswich and they're in the middle of nowhere where you can't get to it unless you're on a back road.
Forest Green that don't really exist as a place.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel for the Wednesday fans getting to Forest Green. I hope they've got the sat navs ready. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the Championship this year. And especially the lineup of fixtures. November's not nice with the three in there, but yeah, it's quite nice. I think we've done well.
Got Reading on Tuesday night as well, haven't we?
Reading on Tuesday night, yeah. Reading away. We've got Norwich is Easter Monday at 3:00 kickoff, which is not bad, to be fair. You prefer it on Good Friday, but that's how it goes, I suppose. The thing is with the Championship this year, Mick, I know you've got Burnley coming down or a Premier League club, but you don't have any, oh my God, they are a huge team. You haven't Aston Villa, who had Jack Grealish at the time. You haven't got Leeds United with Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds United. There's no, oh my God, they are an amazing team. You got Burnley with Vincent Kompany. We don't know that may be amazing. It might not be. There's no sort of teams where you go, Jesus, we're in the big time. There's no scary teams, is there? As much as they are big, there's no scary teams.
Maybe Norwich because of how well they do in the Championship, but
different manager though, isn't it? So we don't know what's happening with them either. There's lots on the teams that have come down. There's huge question marks. Obviously, Watford they'll change their manager by the time we finish this podcast.
Yeah, you're right. And I just need to correct you there just on one thing because the BBC have already renamed them to be Vincent Kompany's Burnley. So
have they?
Yeah. You need to get that, make a note of that, and make sure that you don't slip up with that one again. Yeah, I mean, there's some big clubs in this division. Everybody's a big club compared to us. You know, perhaps with the exception of kind of, and again, I have no disrespect in this, but perhaps with the exception of the likes of maybe Luton and us, that's probably about it, really. Everybody else is a big club in inverted commas. But I don't think we've got anything to fear. I genuinely don't. I think it's just let's look forward to it. Let's enjoy it. At least we're going to be there to see it this time.
Well, that's it. This is our first Championship season that we've actually physically been to since 2019 when we got relegated. That's very good. John Morrell comes back at me saying, "Behave, Matt. Norwich and Watford will be battering teams week in, week out." Let's wait and see. You know what I mean? There's huge question marks on Norwich. They haven't got Buendia like they had last time. They haven't got Cantwell who they had last time. They've got Pookie who's 2 years older than he was last time. There's a lot of question marks on Norwich City for me. A lot of question marks. Watford, Watford will go up because they'll sack 3 managers until they get the right one. So Watford will probably go up. But there will be times this season where Watford are more than vulnerable. So that's sort of what I mean by that, So let's see. Brian Vernon also points out a few teams with points deductions possibly hanging over them. Yeah, there's Reading, potential, although like last season. Bristol City are rumored to be accepting a points deduction. It's going to be interesting. Down in the Championship is always interesting. But right now, there's no amazing teams and there's no really crap teams, it seems.
Yeah, like I say, it's a very compact championship, which is great because it'll mean it's a really competitive division. I don't think you'll have the likes of Fulham did last season. You won't have a team like that who's absolutely pasting teams week in, week out. I think it will be a lot tighter than people give it credit for. And I think it all falls down to, will we be competitive enough to get over that red line? And I don't want to put my predictions on the table too quickly, but so far, yes, I think so. Recruit with the asterisks on recruitment, But we seem to be attracting the right sort of players, and I'm sure we'll talk about this later. But if you're attracting a player like Kyoso, who's had a fantastic season at MK in League One, and then a very solid season in the Championship with Luton, both sides of the January window, if we're attracting those sort of players, we could do very, very well this season. But I agree, there's no team that jumps off the page like, oh, they're a big scary team. They'll take this season by the horns and ride the bull to the Premier League. And I think this season is probably our best chance because we are set up correctly to really take this Championship season by the horns, literally. And give it a good shoeing, I think.
Yeah.
I honestly think this might be me being too optimistic or what, but I honestly think we will surprise a few teams this season. Probably before New Year, we will surprise a few teams with how we play, and there might be some shock results in there early on. Later in the season, we might have our occasional drop off, because that's what we do. But I think early on, we'll surprise a few. I really do.
Yeah.
It's not a phrase I'm familiar with, that, Danny, taking something by the horns and giving it a shoeing.
Yeah, okay.
It was a very strange ride at Blackpool, that, mate.
All right.
Yeah. And it's not just us getting excited. Will Roebuck, I anybody watched the fixture release on Sky Sports News earlier when it came out at 9 o'clock, the Lee Hendry, and none of us here are Lee Hendry fans. Let's get that front and centre. But Lee Hendry thinks that we are going to survive, and he won't be the only one that thinks that based on the last time in the Championship. I think we get a lot of sympathy pundits from last time in the Championship, Mick, to be honest with you. But you look at we've got Johnny as a Birmingham fan. We've got Reading and potentially Bristol City. I think they'll probably be all right. There's huge question marks over. Let's talk about our potential rivals. Birmingham is an absolute shower at the minute in terms of ownership, players, and manager. The manager Lee Bowyer is still there. Will he still be there in time for the Championship? Reading have got Paul Ince, who I don't think I could rate him any less as a manager, and he's got to do a really hard job. Even if he had a full squad, it'd be a hard job because they're not flush with money at the minute. So you've got a couple of teams down there saying, right, that's maybe who we should be aiming for as maybe our rivals.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Reading are concerned, things are coming home to roost now, and I have no issue. I ended up on the Reading podcast last time we were in the Championship, having to explain myself, and I have no issue with Reading supporters or anything else, or Reading as a club. However, the way it's been run is just an outrage, really, in terms of the financial shenanigans that have gone on. So hopefully it'll come home to roost for the owners of that club, not for the fans. I don't wish that on anybody. So yeah, they're gonna have their issues, and it's coming home to roost. John, I'm sure, would tell us more about Birmingham than we already know, but Lawrence Bassini, who has been the man mentioned in this takeover of theirs, I don't know whether he's still involved in that. If he is, I can absolutely guarantee that Birmingham will be down there or bust, because he is just an absolute shambles, that man. An absolute shambles. So they're obviously Birmingham are in trouble at the moment pre-season. But they're a big club, they're a massive club, and if somebody comes in and makes all the right noises with the right amount of money, they'll be nowhere near, because you would think. Listen, I don't think it's going to be easy, is it? But we all know, and I keep saying this every time we talk about Championship, the gap is tiny. The gap between bottom, almost usually bottom, but certainly second bottom, and fourth in terms of quality is not massive. It is not massive at all. And we found that every time we've been up there, and we've fallen short every time, and clearly deservedly so, because it's 46 games. So, but we're getting better every time. So hopefully we'll have learned our lessons, and if the recruitment is right, which I've no reason to suspect that it won't be, I think we'll be all right.
Will Roebuck says thoughts on Blackpool and Luton being down there. That may be controversial. I think Blackpool's a good shout. Change of manager, lost the manager, and Neil Critchell's gone out, who did an amazing job. Strangely, a bit like certain other people, he's taken a backward step to be an assistant manager at Aston Villa. Very strange, but whatever suits him best, I suppose. I would be upset as a Blackpool fan. And John Morell points out on the Reading situation, Reading have like 5 players at the minute, and that's not going to improve massively. Powermed UK says we need to focus on ourselves and have confidence in the lads. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Let's look at that then. Let's look at our fixtures, Danny. Let's start the first. Well, let's call it the first month. I know we played July, but let's say the first month of fixtures, July and August. We start at home to Swansea, away to Coventry, home to Reading, away to Preston, away to QPR, home to Birmingham, and then finish off August away to Sunderland. If you want to chuck Watford in there at home as the last game before the international break, that might be a better stopping point, to be honest with you. Other than Watford, you would say, though, they are all teams that are unlikely to be unbeatable. Maybe we see on Swansea. But there are certainly, well, every single one of those games is winnable. We're just not going to win them all, but they are all winnable games, aren't they?
Yeah, I think the the only two that really stand off as a bit, could go either way, a bit 50-50 are, like you say, Swansea and Watford. I mean, Coventry, potentially, Reading, potentially, Preston, potentially, QPR, we've got a little bit of experience with them from the FA Cup last season. So we might be able to work them out a bit more. Birmingham, yeah, potentially, and Sunderland, I think they've still got a little bit of PTSD from their last trip to New York Stadium. So I think they're thankful it's away for the first meeting this time. Yeah, it should be a very interesting month. It's that month where we sort of find a feet, get the rhythm going, and you sort of learn roughly where you stand in terms of what formation you're going to use and tactics potentially around the start of September mark. That's what we did last season. Could be doing the same this season. It still seems a little bit weird seeing July as our first fixture. Yes. I still keep thinking if they made a mistake and that's like our last pre-season game or something. So it still seems a little bit weird, but circumstances are what they are with the World Cup. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to August. It should be an exciting month learning where we stand with it all.
It's an 11-month season, and I don't think that's ever happened before. We're starting in July, finishing May. The only month we're not playing is June. Yeah, people are right. These football seasons get longer and longer, I suppose, don't they? Mick, again from that first spell, is there anything else? Is there anything that jumps out where you think? Do you know what people are tipping Preston? Preston are tipped to be people's sort of dark horses, but I'm not sure. I've not seen any signs that excite me from their point of view. What do you think, Suffolk? What do you think?
I understand that the owners are pumping money into the club with new share issues quite regularly. Wow, that's going to pan out. Whether that's going to pan out in terms of recruitment or whether that's just to keep them afloat, who knows? But that appears to be happening. I've not heard anything about Preston particularly that excites me. Swansea first game at home, that is as tough a test as you're going to get, unless with the exception of probably the clubs coming down from the Premier League.
What's that manager?
Swansea.
We know where they're at. Yeah.
Mate. Don't know. Well, don't ask me. Why would you ask me that? Some bloke, I imagine. That's about as much.
Oh, it's Russell Martin. In the MK Dons. The abandoned MK Dons. Day one last year.
Yeah, of course they did. They nicked him, didn't they?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough start. But doesn't matter, does it? Doesn't matter. Was it in for his green at home or away?
Yeah,
that's
true.
Just live it, enjoy
it. Stephen Thomas says, "Hit the ground running, Danny. How important is it that we don't go 7 games without a win at the start of the season? Does that matter? Is it? Would it be ideal? What do you think?"
I think if you hit the ground running, it does give you that big confidence boost to kick on for the rest of the season. I know in League One we had a little bit of a staggered August, but we did put in some good performances and found a feet in September. And I think if we try and attack it with the same mindset of, try and get some very positive results in that time, it will give us a big confidence boost. And I think with a team where we have lost 2 of our standout players in League One to the ones up the road, and we've got another defender who's been here for a while who's now moved on to Harrogate, and potentially other clubs swooping for other players that we don't know of yet. We should try and get a really good positive start, not just for ourselves, but also just to give the confidence to the players, like, yeah, we can do this. You should stick around and see this out, because this could be something special. And I think that's what a couple of players have missed. This could have been a special season, both for them and for the club. But the players who are sticking around could be part of something special this season. But it all hinges on a positive start. Positive start could see us racking up a few points and a bit of confidence. But like you say, if we don't win in the first 7, that's when the question marks come up, which I don't want to see.
One of the things you have lost in those 2 players, and which is not present amongst probably the bulk of the remainder of the squad, with the exception of the odd 1 or 2, is baggage. The baggage of 2 failures in the Championship. I said this last night.
3. It's 3. It'd be 3 failures.
Yeah. So in their heads, in their minds, they're always going to be on the back. They would have always been on the back foot right from the start. 2 key positions, 2 key, absolutely vital positions. Centre back and goal scorer in inverted commas. Then they are carrying that baggage of 3 relegations and 3 failures at this level. So we've got rid of that. We've got Woody still in there, who's a big enough man and more an experienced enough player to be able to deal with that. But the rest of the squad, in reality, there were most of them. The bulk of them were there last time, but we were last day,
and it weren't a proper season.
No,
really.
No, it weren't, absolutely. And it was a last day free goal almost, weren't it? The centre's down, a deflected goal. So
yeah,
it's interesting. It's interesting. You look through that squad, and obviously Victor's still there. Barlas is still there. Wilds is still there. But
Vickers,
they
didn't play.
From the sort of last 4 years of up, down, there's very little left, and those 2 were 2 of the 2 that were left. So, maybe that's going to be another positive to take out of it.
Yeah, John Morales. I think you're probably right. John Morales only got mostly relegated team last time. No, I think obviously Smith and Icky have gone. We released Freddie. We released Angus. We lost obviously Crooksy last summer. But surprisingly, it has been a quite high turn. When you actually look at it, you don't feel like it really, to be honest with you. But since relegation,
we've still got Chio as well, but he didn't play half the season, did he? So
exactly.
He'll be chomping at bit to have a good start as well.
We've probably got 4 or 5 players who were regulars that season, and the rest are either new or back from injury or whatever, and don't sort of bear those scars. So
it's probably not even 4 or 5, is it? It's literally Woody.
Wilesy.
Well, sorry, from last time. Yeah.
And Dan Barlas. So.
Yeah. Hardin, Wes.
And Wes,
Yeah.
But you look at those players as individuals and mentally. For me, we spoke to a couple of them, and they are mentally a lot stronger in my mind. They are less confidence players than certainly the two that have left yesterday.
We don't have it. Ick is one of the most confidence-based defenders I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I know what you're saying. Whereas Woody doesn't really have that, does he?
No.
Woody misses ball, he'll just get man next time. I'll not worry about
it. Can we just give a shout out to Richard Wood running a mile in 5 minutes and 17 seconds? That is exceptional.
Incredible.
I mean, it's mad. That's mad. He's 36, nearly 37. It's ridiculous.
He drew an audience at the training ground as well. He saw pictures of players hanging out of windows going, is he finished yet? And it's incredible. 5 minutes, 17 seconds. I mean, I dread to think how long it'd take me to run a mile. It'd probably be like 5 hours and 17 minutes. Never mind 5 minutes, 17 seconds.
Yeah. But it's one of those areas we've still got to improve on. John Morrell mentioned it again. To be honest, we've got 600-year-old Woody at centre back against someone like Troy Deeney. For us, they'll be licking his lips surely. Yeah, it's certainly we've got to replace Icky's speed. Icky's main attribute we're going to lose. If for Woody is his pace, his ability to recover from the mistake he's just made. So that's a slight issue, but I don't think it's catastrophic. Woody's strong. If we do play a back three, that protects Woody. Woody gets a lot of stick from people outside this club, to be honest with you. I think he's massively underrated for people that aren't a Rotherham United fan. I think, anyway.
He's incredibly fit.
Incredibly fit.
However, he's not got the pace. But to be fair, John, him and Troy Deeney are probably both there in the pipe and slippers. They're both the same age, aren't they? They'll be swapping war stories now. I'm playing football.
Yeah. I'm sure Woody will get sent off twice this season. I'm absolutely certain of it. But we've got to have people in there. That's the key area of recruitment, which we'll come on to in a moment. The concern of the fixture list, because it's not a massive concern, but the last month of the season is very tricky. We talked about the first 7. The last run of games in April, you got Hull on the 1st of April, West Brom on Good Friday, Norwich on Easter Monday, Luton, Burnley, Bristol City, Middlesbrough, and Wigan. Now, as we see at the start of the season, there is at least three of those that we're expecting to be promoted. You could maybe add Hull in there, you could maybe add Bristol City or Middlesbrough in there. That's a hell of a tough run at a crucial time of the season.
I refer you back, and I know it's on a lower level, but I refer you back to last season just gone. And, when the fixtures came out, we looked at that final month and thought, wow, we've got some of the bigger teams in the division in our running, and we probably have the most difficult running out of the lot, possibly with the exception of McDonald's. So it doesn't matter. For me, in my mind, whatever the season is, whatever division you are, one of the first things you look at is that last month of the season, and you always cringe. You always think, we've got them. It doesn't matter who it is. You know what I mean? There's some big clubs in there, but like I said to you earlier on, they're pretty much all big clubs in this division. So, and none of us know which one of those, because at least one of those will be either on beach or struggling. One of them might already be promoted. They might all be struggling. We might be above them all. We might be below them all. You just don't know. So on paper at the moment, it looks tough, but let's wait while April.
Yeah, absolutely. Dates of the diary is the only derby, or you can count Huddersfield if you want, but the only South Yorkshire derby is Sheffield United. We go to Bramall Lane on the 10th of September, and then they come to New York Stadium on the 4th of February. I don't know if that could be changed because the FA Cup 4th round. That's something we will investigate as the episode goes on. If you're interested, we have Huddersfield on the 29th at the John Smiths, or whatever it's called, and we host them on the 15th as well. Any other fixtures, Danny, or any other games, any other teams that sort of stand out to you in this fixture list?
Millwall away on New Year's Day. That should be fun.
Yeah, I did think that one. That's maybe not.
Can't get that one. Although what I could do is pop down there and see some of my right-wing friends.
Don't stereotype. I'm just some lovely Millwall fans, I'm sure.
Sorry. I should have just thought of that. Shouldn't I?
Weren't Millwall voted the Community Club of the Year last year as well?
They have won it in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Mick getting told off again.
Yeah. This is why we can't have nice things like players coming on, Mick. We can't have it because of this. Millwall's a stinker. Wigan the last day of the season, I think both us and Wigan will be happy with that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's one of those strange ones.
Unless it ends up being a scrap for who stays up and who goes down, then we will absolutely hate that fixture.
Yeah.
We will, but I prefer to play Wigan than Burnley. And they'll think exactly the same for Rotherham than Burnley. Right. We are going to have a quick word from Manscaped, who are giving us some nice products, and then we will back to talk about the Carabao Cup goal, which I know you're all begging for us to talk about, and the signings that has happened and what Danny found on his trip to Ramwood today. See you in a minute. So we're here today to talk about Manscaped's brand new product they've brought out to try and revolutionise men's boxers. The Boxers 2.0, and they have kindly sent us a couple of things to have a look and see what we think of them. So we thought we'd just open them and show you. First of all, I've got mine, LEFA, which means the boss. Thank you very much, Manscaped. They feel lovely, to be honest with you. I can't wait to try them on. Daniel, what do we have? What are they giving you?
Well, obviously yours is the boss, but I don't know what they're trying to say about mine because mine are called the Kingpin. I don't know why, but this is my design. Again, very nice. Reminds me a little bit of Rotherham's third kit from a couple of seasons ago. So these will definitely be coming on away days with me. But they feel lovely. You know, it might have something to do with the anti-chafing technology that they've got now, but they feel really nice. There's no tag on it, so there's no irritation, which is fantastic. Mick, what do you think to yours?
Well, I'll tell you what I think to mine, shall I? Because obviously, mate, you're the boss, you're the Kingpin. You've taken all the stuff I was going to say about my Silver Fox boxer shorts. So they're just taking Mickey out of me, I think, and I understand that. I don't blame you, but yeah, they are lovely. They're really nice. I like them. There you go.
One of the key features of the
Silver
dual
Fox
is the dual pouch, which is the front, which you'll let you use your imagination on that store, but it's very, very good. Benjamin, for your jewels.
Yeah, I've got the golden nugget, but I think there's been a bit of a mix-up because I've got mine on.
So we told you we're going to open them together and have a look.
didn't happen, did it?
No, I've got mine on. I can't say they're comfy, so I highly recommend them.
Is it the satin waistband, which is very comfortable as well?
No, it's the front fly opening.
Okay, that's comfortable, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Each to their own.
I imagine.
It is very.
Yeah. So if you want to join Ben in enjoying some boxes and any of the wonderful products that Manscaped put out, go to manscaped.com, use the code NYT, and I'll give you 20% off, free shipping. And Ben
highly recommends it.
Nailed it. Ben did nail it. So thank you very much, Manscaped, for continuing this important podcast. Shall we? I've just quick mentioned to Asai Tutu who has got a permanent move. Asai Tutu will not be going back to London on loan. I think it's Bochum. Am I right in saying it's Bochum he's gone to in Germany? It's a good move for him. It's a permanent move. First team football. Good luck.
Bundesliga 2, Bochum still are.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Good move,
so it's a good move. It is a good move. Good standing in Germany. Steve Adams asks, Mick must be looking forward to seeing Gavin Ward again. It's exciting. I bet Victor is as well, to be honest with you.
Yes, Stephen, thank you very much for that. I mean, you know, it's summer, sun's out, there's no football on, we've got fixtures to talk, all these happy things, and now I'm back in a dark place.
Do you want to mention your mate Bobby get a promotion?
I know, yeah. I mean, I know. It's just, listen, let's save that for the season, because we are going to have lots and lots to talk about from a refereeing point of view, aren't we?
Yes.
So who is it that's retired from Premier League refereeing to take over the Championship refereeing?
I Can't remember. I know what you mean though.
Right.
That guy went to the guy who messed up the Huddersfield penalties, John Moss.
It could well be.
He's retiring, but I think he's staying within the structure of the PGMOL.
Kind of just sums it up, right?
Yeah. Cheryl Stone says no, Trevor Kettle. That is true. He has retired. For everybody's kettle free, which we're all big fans of. Good luck, Trevor,
we are, aren't we? But
future endeavours.
Championship have got lots and lots of wannabe Trevors, haven't they?
True. Liam McGarry asks, evening all. Danny, will there be anything new to come to the vlogs next season? Would like to see some interviews with fans. I suppose, Danny, we should talk about what our plans are for next season. Just let everybody in on the secret.
Yeah, well, of course, I am staying with the podcast now that my placement has finished. I've decided to stay on for another year, unlike some people who were associated with the football club. But anyway, so next year is my final year of uni, so it might be a little bit more sporadic with the vlogs, because, of course, midweek games, having to juggle around a uni timetable and stuff like that. But because I am doing a TV and radio module, I am going to experiment with a few things on the vlogs as well. Maybe a bit more of me on camera interviewing people and hopefully getting a bit more involved with player questions if we get any next season as well. I'm quite excited for next season along those lines. So hopefully the vlogs go onwards and upwards.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we will be bringing back the scouting report. The brickworks are in place. I'm part of a WhatsApp group with other Championship podcasts. So we'll hopefully be getting more reaction from other fans, preview from other fans, learning about their team. We've already agreed a whole fan who's going to tell us a bit more about Tom Eaves next week. We'll try and get somebody to talk about Kyoso. And everybody we sign, we'll try and get some information from who they played with last. Because I like the information. I like to know about that. I think it's helpful. And also, we are going to be trying to do a post-match instant reaction at the ground. We're going to be trying it next week at Parkgate, after the Parkgate game. So if one or two people want to let us know, if you fancy doing it, let us know. Contact us through DMs on Twitter or email, and basically we'll give it a go. Might turn out to be a right pile of old nonsense, but we'll give it a go.
Bit like this.
We'll give it a go. Really? Bit like this. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, let us know if you want to be involved in that on the Parkgate game and future games. Certainly we'll do all the home games. I'm not sure we'll be able to do all the away games because of stuff getting out there and whatnot, but certainly home games we're looking at doing that. So keep an eye out. Keep your eyes peeled for stuff like that. Carabao Cup news, the big one. I know you're all excited. Port Vale are the team we will be we're going to visit. When losing to in early August. I mean, I like the Carabao Cup, Danny, when it's at home because it's almost like a pre-season friendly. It's a little bit of a free hit, but again, I struggle to like midweek games. I'm not going to put Vale on a Tuesday night. I wouldn't want to go any further on a Saturday, to be honest with you, but it's a crap draw, to be honest with you. I think it's crap. What do you think?
I think the only positive is that we get to reunite with Jamie Proctor because he signed a new deal with Port Vale, so we get to be reunited with him. And that might be the only positive to come out of it, to be fair. But yeah, it's not the best draw, but it's not an absolute stinker. It's not Chef Wednesday at home, is it? Which I think we were all dreading after the recent news. So yeah, it's just like it's just a all right sort of draw, isn't it?
It is. Mick, anything to add on that one?
Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
The schedule of the Carabao Cup is a bit strange and a bit odd this season. So you've got the first two rounds are normal. You have the first round on the week commencing the 8th, so 9th or 10th we played on. And the second round is the 23rd or 24th. The third round is not until November. There's almost a month and a half between the second and third round. And then, I mean, we won't get past the third round. But that's just something to note for that, really, that if we do make it past the second round, there's a massive wait. The FA Cup is unaffected by the World Cup. That starts standard for us. It starts standardly in January and so on and so on. But it's just the Carabao Cup that's worth noting. If we lose to Port Vale, what is it? What's relevant?
My understanding whether the FA Cup started in sort of November time for league clubs does that not apply to us?
Not to us. No.
Why is that then, Matt?
Because we're a massive
there's
club,
this
that's why.
Depending on how successful you are as a football club, on the pitch, scoring goals, winning points, etc. You get higher in this division. If you're in a certain division, you don't have to go into the first 2 rounds of FA Cup.
Oh, that's good then. And obviously, I assume we've achieved that level.
Yeah, we have achieved that level. Yeah.
Well, some clubs don't achieve that level, though, do they? Despite trying lots and lots of efforts to do so.
Oh, I enjoyed that. Very good. Chris Sanderson says, "Can we have a jingle for the weekly Mick rant of the week?" Yeah. If anyone wants to make a jingle, we'll take it.
I need to contact the RUFC again, don't I? See if I've asked him to do us one do us a new intro, but it probably just be Simpsons related.
He's been busy with the musical, on it, to be fair.
Yeah. To be fair, and what a rip roaring success that has been as well. Unbelievable scenes.
Yeah. Right. Let's talk about the good news today. The good news, which has perked everybody right back up after the fixture release and after the nonsense of Wednesday night. Peter Kioso has been brought to the club. And you know what this marks? This is a landmark signing for the club. And the reason is, it's because of one that we talked about that actually happened. Unbelievable. Can't believe it. It's finally worked. And I'm going to prove that by putting up the breakdown for Kioso on the screen. So to give a bit more detail of this, he's 22-year-old. He was loaned to MK Dons last season, but came back to Luton in January and played the rest of the season. He had 1 year less contract, now in a 3-year contract for us. He is a right wing-back / right full-back. His stats for McDonald's last season were 18 appearances, 3 goals, 4 assists. And his strength is his top football manager stat, Mick, which is interesting. I'm not gonna lie, Danny. I know the name, and I've seen his goals and I've seen his actions. It wasn't something I was fully aware of, but then you look into him and you say, "Do you know what? This could be a really, really good signing."
Yeah, I think so. I think when we first got linked to him, it were a bit, you sort of know the name, but you don't quite know where to place it. And then you saw a few highlights from our game at MK Don's place, and it's like, oh, it's the one who was actually good against us in that fixture, right? Okay. He had a very good season whilst he was on loan at MK Dons, like you said, 3 goals, 4 assists. Came back to the Championship to help Luton with their playoff run-in as well. Played a fair few minutes there. And I'm honestly quite surprised Luton have let him go. I think he was in the last year of his contract there, but I'm honestly surprised they've not decided to carry on with him, to be honest. Still, it's a massive positive for us, and by the sounds of it, he's got massive accolades from the different clubs he's played for. You've got Bolton, Northampton, MK Dons, and Luton all singing his praises, which is quite rare for when we sign someone, because normally they just call them crap and say, "Nah, he's not as good as you think he is." But yeah, we've got a lot of praise saying about Kioso, and a lot of praise saying we've got a good signing with him. So I'm quite excited to see what he does now.
Yeah, me too, to be honest with you. I feel to me, Luton are one of those, a bit like us, where they could have kept him, but when the player wants to leave and they've sort of served their time, they're willing to let him go for bigger and better things. I'm not saying we're bigger and better things, but it's just an opportunity is what I meant to say. Bigger and better things. For an opportunity to play games. It's like if Jamie Lindsay was unhappy, I think we would have let him go in the summer, wouldn't we? And I think that's where the comparison I would draw with Luton. I mean, that's why they'd let him go. Mick, I agree with Danny. When IFC put that clip of him hitting post, I do remember that, and I remember him from that game. I didn't know his name, but I remember him being very good.
Yeah, very much so. He's a very much a Paul Warren player, though, isn't he? He's like lightning, run through brick walls, in the sense that he's a grafter, and he seems like a nice lad as well. Seems like a lovely lad. So, he ticks all the boxes. So, I've got ambitious in this recruitment team. Sorry, Matt.
I was just saying he's ambitious. We'll split championship.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot for the whole season.
He's done his homework on the club as well. You know, he's sort of looked at how we played against MK and how much hard work we put in both on the pitch and presumably behind the scenes as well. And he's gone, I want to be a part of that, which is great. And it just goes to show I think the law is a bit strong, but it just goes to show how Paul Warne sells the club to players that makes them want to sign for us. And you look at the recent signings that Warney's made, it's players who want to do well for this team. And I think Kyoso is going to be one of them. He will work his absolute nuts off for us, which is fantastic. And I've just seen the comment from Tom J. Brown about where he's going to play. Yes. I agree. I think we've signed him as the wing back to push Chio further up into his more island position, if you like, which means there's going to be a few more goal involvements with Chio. Excellent.
Yeah. $250,000 for every assist, $500,000 extra for every goal. Yes,
exactly. But can I just say, we've got a right-hand side of Harding, Kyoso and Chio. That's exceptional for us, isn't it? That's exceptional.
I'm right in saying that Kyoso's quite quick in him. I don't think he's lightning, but I think he's quick, isn't he?
Yeah, he's quick,
yeah. And if Bramall plays out on the left-hand side, pace is exciting. And something that you think about, that we often struggled last time in the Championship to get the ball up the pitch when we were under cosh a little bit. And something that Ryan Williams was very good at, and there's obviously not Ryan Williams players, but Ryan Williams was very good at taking the ball from our own half to the edge of the opposition box on a counter-attack. And nobody's had that pace since then. Nobody's had that lightning pace because obviously Chia wasn't there in the Championship last time. We didn't have that, did we? But we didn't have that outlet. Both these can have that outlet. And if we play Chia in a more advanced position, we've got that pace. We've got that ability to take the ball away from the danger zone and get us away from danger. I think we've talked to Will last night. I think he's a bit concerned about both of those players defensively at the Championship. But we've got a full pre-season. If you get them in now, you've got a full pre-season to work on that. I think it's exciting. And I said about I haven't watched them play. This is why this is the best time of the season. No one's gone wrong yet, has it? So it's fine. Do you think, Mick, that means Harding will be expected to play more of a centre-back role? Yeah. Or do you think it will just be interchangeable with him and Kyoso?
Possibly, but I think he's more suited at centre-back.
Do you think?
Me. I just think he is. I think he is. But there's going to be some more players to come in that position, quite clearly. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see what the next few days bring. But I suspect, I don't even know whether he's going to play a back three or a back four. You know, we'll have to wait and see. Who knows? I suspect it will be a back three. I suspect Wes Harding will be one of that three. Woody will be one of that three as and when he plays, but he won't. I don't think there's any way that he's going to be playing 46 games this season. That's the fourth time pre-season. I've said that pre-season.
It's more than four.
I've been wrong on every one of them, but for me, that's where I see Wes playing.
Fair enough. And John Morell, Birmingham fan. It's good to have you with us, John. John says that Wes was a natural centre back all the way through the Birmingham Academy.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I thought Harding was always better as the right side of centre back behind Chio as wing back. It sort of gave him a bit more defensive security on that right hand side. And if we sort of understand that Chio will be pushed up further, so it's Harding providing that defensive security, which will probably allow Kyoso to run his socks off on that wing, and couple that with Chio running his socks off on that wing. That right hand side is going to be dangerous this season.
Just don't play Wes as left-hand side of a back three. That does not
work. Get a left-sided centre-back in, for Christ's sake.
Nicholas Skidmore asks, how much do we think we've paid for Kyoso? Peter Rhodes answers that we think we've paid him 5 pints of Madrid and some knobby nuts. Sounds about right to me. Danny, I know it's undisclosed. The Luton account I saw reckoned it was somewhere between 300 and 400k. Which feels like a lot to me, but do you have any information?
Well, his rumoured market value, I don't know how up to date this is, should I say, because it's from Transfer Marks, but they've got him down as being roughly 270k. So if they reckon it's that, 300k sounds roughly in the same ballpark as that. We've definitely not broken our transfer records, and our transfer records 400k plus add-ons for Freddie. So I can understand them saying between 300 and 400. I think it is more towards 300 if that's the case. J-Bo said he saw it around 175k. If that's the case, that's an absolute steal. 175k. But I think it could be, if you factor in maybe add-ons, maybe between 250, 300k potentially. Which isn't bad.
A bit of a
I don't think. Yeah. And I mean, even for that, that's not a bad value for a player of his quality either.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to make a joke about being paid money, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be the bigger man and not make a joke.
Mick, do you want to take the joke or should we leave it?
No, let's that one
just,
right.
Just trying to work out how many weeks' wages that is, but it's fine. We'll just move on. S6 Formula points out the song that has been brought up. Danny, would you like to let everybody know this? Would you like to sing the song that has been brought up, which I think is a great song?
What? Wake me up before you go. Who needs Icky when we've got Keo? So wake me up.
I like that.
That's very good.
Don't get your day job up, Danny, though, because singing's not worth it.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and Nicholas Skibble, this is the key one. Could fetch some money in for the long term. This is not. We'll talk about Cole Stockton in a minute. This is not Cole Stockton, who, if we bring in, we're bringing him in for the purpose of being good now. Kyoso's got a sell-on fee. He's only 22-year-old, Mick, and he's already a championship player, and is in an exciting attacking position. Which, if you're good at it, your market value will absolutely skyrocket. So there is. It's an investment. This signing is an investment.
It's probably one of the things I missed out when I said he's a typical Paul 1 signing, because that's another thing that this recruitment team are looking at, and they keep coming up with them. Genuinely, they keep coming up with them. You know, full confidence in him. Rob Scott is doing a hell of a job.
I completely agree. We've got a few Smith. Do you want to cover the Smith stuff, Michael Smith stuff, or do you want to just leave that?
Who?
Oh yeah, he's cleared out his entire Twitter account. And Instagram, he's deleted all his posts and everything. Let's move on. Where are we?
Let bygones be bygones. We'll say that.
Till he comes up against us.
Yeah.
Danny, talk to us about your trip to Roundwood today, because everybody was interested to know, did the binoculars work? How did it go?
Well, you're pleased to hear I didn't actually need the binoculars. I told my boss about it, and he says, "No, you're keeping those in your bag. We'll get told off." It's like, okay. But this happened just after I'd finished work. My mum picks me up from work, you see, and I was stood waiting for her, and this this car arrived, and my ears sort of picked up because it sounded like more of a foreign accent with his English. It sounded a bit more European, you know. I couldn't quite picture it where it was from. It were either Spain or Portugal, you know, that sort of way on. And he goes into the training ground with either his mate or his brother, I'm not sure. And then this other fella who might be the guy driving him round Rotherham whilst they're around here. And they go into the training ground. They come back out with like training gear, you know, like the shirt and the socks and stuff. And then they all just sort of loiter about a little bit. Now, one of them makes a joke of, it's been really hot round here, but it'll be cold for you. So it's like, it's from somewhere hot, somewhere Mediterranean hot, you know, around that way. And then my mum picks us up, and we've got like a Rotherham badge on her car. So all three of them just watch the car going, "Ooh, who's this?" sort of thing. And it was just my mum, you know. And and they sort of all looked at me when I said hello to Dan Barlasser, because he was outside the training ground as well. I don't think he recognised me, by the way. You know, and someone sort of looks at you and sort of go, "I know you from somewhere, but I can't picture you." And do a little bit of digging into it, and I'm like 60% sure it's Ruben Rodriguez. Like, I know that's not a lot, but you know, it's not like I walked up to him and went, "Hi mate, how you doing? Have you just signed for Rotherham?" Yes, I have. You know what I mean? We're not talking those sort of assurances, but I'm like 60% sure it's him purely because of the accent, and he's like the only foreign-born player that we've been linked to. And yeah, that's my Roundwood story. And I also may have seen Eves at the training ground at some point as well, but I'm not too sure on that one either because it was from a fair distance away whilst I was on the trailer of a tractor. So there you go.
Yeah. But we know Tom Eves is signing because, as AJ Miller points out, has ever seen Tom Eves in a Rotherham shirt? Yeah, Tom Eves has done his. It looks like he's done his photo job. I imagine there's just signing the contracts and going away for that. Ruben Rodriguez, Mick, if that's true, there's then you then put question marks on Cole Stockton. You're going to spend the money that Notts County want on Ruben Rodriguez, which won't be cheap. It might be similar money you pay for Curso, maybe a bit more, and then Cole Stockton, which is probably going to be 600-700k. That's then quite a big outlet. That's million plus if you've got just those three players, and then Bramall 200k in for Bramall. You're talking well over £1 million invested already. That's a big jump from what I've had in the past.
Yeah, it's not enough though, is it? Not enough. I mean, Tony Stewart's just it's different, isn't it? I don't know. No, seriously. I mean, you know, how many more strikers are we going to bring in? You know, if Tom Eves has signed, are we also going to be bringing in Cole Stockton, Ruben Rodriguez, possibly even Will Grigg? You know, I think we should tone it down a bit, calm it down a little bit because it's only going to be one or two of the absolute outside of that.
Is it? We haven't got any. We haven't got any first team strikers at the minute. JJ and JJ is going to go out on loan. I think we're all in agreement with that. We don't know where Kelly is, so in theory we could have right now zero. Well, Conor Washington, one striker.
It is worth noting as well that Ruben Rodriguez is more of your second striker and not a centre forward, so he could occupy that position that either Chio or Wiles played behind Smith towards the end of the season. So that could be why we've got Rodriguez. But like I say, I'm only 60% sure it's him. It's not nailed on or anything.
You're not the first person. There's been people on Twitter today mention it. Again, it's just Twitter rumours, so we don't buy too much into them. But these rumours tend to start somewhere.
Listen, whatever happens, we're going to find out in the next couple of days. You know. Next week or so at the most, you would have thought, because we're off to Parkgate a week on Friday, a week tomorrow, and then they're off out to Croatia or wherever it is they're off to. So, you know, these next probably 7 days are going to be pivotal to who is on that aeroplane to Croatia, and you know the bulk of the squad you would hope will be there. So. We'll see.
Yeah. Brian Burns says, Cole Stockton, are we? I don't know. I don't think he'll be very happy. If he signs, he'll know he's second choice to Michael Smith, which then may put a doubt in his mind if nobody else is interested, is he going to want to spend another season at Morecambe in a relegation fight in League One? I don't know. It's going to be different. Paramount UK. I mentioned this to you earlier, Danny. Can you imagine Washington, Rodriguez, Eves, Stockton, and Will Grigg? It'd be ridiculously exciting. But again, I imagine there's a lot of money on wages, a lot of money on transfer fees on two of those players. It's exciting. This is an exciting time of the season. Very, very exciting time of the season. Any other names that we've meant? We know Colin Brown. We'll talk about Colin Brown probably next episode, but Danny, when he's officially signed.
Is that a done deal then, do we think, Colin Bramall?
I think so. Barring a medical, barring a medical issue in his medical, I suspect that sounds like a done deal, I think. It's not going to turn down our terms, I would have thought. We will, as a championship, we'll be able to offer more than Lincoln. And as we know nowadays, it's all about the money in it. So,
Yeah. It sounds like an exciting prospect as well, but as you said, talk about him when he signs, if he signs.
Yeah, definitely. Danny, any other names that you can mention? I suppose we can't.
I have heard a couple rumblings about some players, but I'm not allowed to talk about them just yet. They are defensive players. They are defensive players, so I will say that. So everyone asking about potential hiccups with defensive players, you can hold your horses because there are irons in the fire with those. I have heard a rumour surrounding Will Grigg, but again, not allowed to talk about it at the minute because it's still up in the air, and I don't want to say anything and it not happen and then make myself look like an arse. But yeah, something is in the work. Something is in the works with Grigg, and I don't believe there is any other serious interest in any of our players. I know that Barlasser is committed to this year. Chio effectively has committed to this year as well. So all the Swansea fans can be quiet on Twitter, which is still quite funny to see. Wales had a little bit of interest from Sheffield United, but that's died down. I think that was just the case of him being on a list, but they've explored somewhere else. Yeah, and I think probably the next one to be announced, I won't put any money on it because I'll lose money knowing my luck, but I think the next one through the door will be Cohen Bramall. I reckon he'll be next one announced because I believe he did his medical last week. I think it was. It might have been this week. Can't remember. I've slept since I saw that tweet. But yeah, exciting times. I think very exciting times. I think we'll certainly see maybe 2, possibly 3 before the Parkgate game next Friday. So very exciting times.
Yeah, absolutely. The AJ Mill says there'll be a couple of signings. Yeah, tomorrow, if you had better 5, you're going to get Tom Eaves and Cohen Bramall on Friday, I would guess. We'll see. We'll see. Anything else we want to cover on this?
Can we talk about the disgraced fake account, Chris Cook?
You can, but I feel like it's on your skin, Danny.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad the account's been deleted now, but that Chris Cook account, anything that I've heard from him is basically nonsense.
What were all about then?
It was just someone stirring at the pot, wasn't it?
I don't know. I was just curious that one. It all seemed very peculiar. Lots and lots of very specific stuff, and then And then
it got outed, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Well, you get that. Well, to be fair, he did good to fool so many people, I suppose. He is clearly, a bit of an idiot, but I at the same time, I have a bit of respect for him for calling that many people. To be honest with you. Like I said, we covered the Smith and Icky thing to death on the YouTube episode on Wednesday night. So if you want to go back and listen to that, there's not really much else that's come out that's worth mentioning, unless you two have got anything else that you want to cover on it. I think we've just about covered everything last night that we want to stay recorded.
Yeah, I think so. It's yeah. We don't care, do we? Do we really care?
We don't care. Okay, yeah, but
all right. Well, now we've had 24 hours to get over it, and it's just probably a blessing in disguise, I suspect. Which is what I mentioned what I kind of alluded to yesterday. I think, in my view, and then we talked about it earlier on in this podcast as well about the baggage that they carry with them in the Championship, and I think if we all put our hands on our hearts, and what we would all probably admit to ourselves that we feel that maybe Michael Smith has overachieved this season, and he probably wouldn't have ended up having the same season in the Championship as he's just had in League One. I think if we were all honest with ourselves. So,
if you took your Rotherham United hat off,
yes,
that's maybe what you'd be saying. With our Rotherham United hats on, I think we would have believed it.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's me not being bothered, obviously. I'll be bothered.
Whichever it is, yeah. Joanne Simpson, this one I found this really interesting. The club put out statements last night. The club didn't wish either of them the best. They thanked them for the service, Danny, and they took a leaf out of my book. I'm sure they didn't copy me, but took a leaf out of my book by not wishing them well in their career going forward because of where they've gone. Wish them well as people, but I thought it was interesting the club didn't say good luck or anything like that. As a club, we normally do.
It was interesting the wording of the announcement articles as well, saying they're very disappointed, but it wasn't really a wishing well. It was just off you go and good luck to you. It
wasn't even that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it wasn't even that. I mean, with Joe Mattock, there was the big fanfare about him being released, and he was very thankful to Rotherham because when it got announced he joined Harrogate, he actually thanked the fans for 7 years with us or something, something like that. Whereas we've sort of gone, we're very disappointed that this has happened, which makes you think, I mean, this is tinfoil hat time, but it may have been a bit shifty how the move came about. We've talked about this a little bit in the exclusive YouTube episode, but it does make you think that the club wasn't happy with how it was dealt with. Maybe not. Maybe at an agent level, maybe at a player level. We don't know. I don't think we'll ever know. To be fair, we can only assume that something shifty happened, and the club was royally annoyed about it, and that's why they've just gone, yeah, on your bike, off you go, sort of thing.
And we'll move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think what we will say is I've finished on 2 points. First of all, just be careful. People abusing Michael Smith. Please don't go. You can go too far. Let's not be nasty about it. You're allowed to be upset about it. You're allowed to voice frustrations. Don't get nasty. Don't be abusive. Try and hold your tongue if you can, please, because there's no need for abuse in any form, and certainly that one. And secondly, I would just say I fully support the club and the actions they've taken, the efforts they've done, and their statement last night. I think the club have come out looking like they've been screwed over, but I think they've done everything they could do. I think they've done everything in good faith. I think that's maybe the best way I can put it. And I'm glad that it's my club and we're in the Championship. Anyway. There we go.
So, Mick, is that Darren Moore outside your window trying to get you to sign a 3-year deal?
Well, that's knocking then.
I just mentioned on it. There is a conspiracy that I've got together with club, and obviously Sheffield Wednesday are trying to sign every Michael in Rotherham with the hope that one of them's got some talent. So we've got his heads together, and every Michael in Rotherham signed a contract with Rotherham United and then off down to Swilsborough. My appointment at Swilsborough's tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm going to get myself a transfer fee. And 20k a week. You never know here. They'll get one. They'll find one of them.
I could just see you and Barry Bannon pulling strings in Middle of Park.
Oh, mate. What like that, me and Barry? Give me a shirt. They gave me a shirt, the lad.
I would have thought that at the end of the season, the person we would like most is Barry Bannon out of all those players.
Top man. A lot of respect for him, I'll be honest.
Yeah, big time. But he's in League One.
Yeah.
A last call for anything else. We've gone on a bit longer than we want to. If you want to go watch it, it's 20 minutes with Will Daniels on it. I think it's quite good. I think it's honest, at least. I suppose that's the best way I can put it. We were very honest about how we felt and things like that. Anything else for tonight's episode?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick.
Time to move on.
Yeah. To anything else? Or just...
Yeah, well, not whatever you want. Just that one more a philosophical time to move on rather than an actual move on. Man.
Right, okay. Got you. Danny, were you going to say something then?
I'm going to echo what Ben Sharp says. At least Ladipo had the balls to tell us where he stood with the club. And I'm quite surprised that Ladipo's come out of the three big players leaving looking the best, because he was upfront and honest, really, wasn't he? So out of the three of them,
not turning up for the last few games.
Yeah, there's that. But Freddie's now got the best of the well-wishing at Ipswich than the other two have at Wednesday, from me anyway.
That's probably true. Would have thought that a week ago.
Freddie, if you want to come on the podcast and tell us what happened, just email us, give us a ring, that sort of thing.
I'll put it out there. If Michael Smith and Mike Becker want to come on the podcast and talk to us and tell us what happened, we'll happily talk to you. I don't expect that, and I'm not saying please come on. I'm just, the offer's open to all players.
Tell your side of the story.
Current and former. There we go. Is anybody going to the cricket tomorrow on Friday night? Danny's going.
I am.
I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I have no idea. I may do it. Depends on what time I finish work. I don't know what time I'm going to finish. So
cool. I don't know either, to be honest with you. So we may see you there. We may see you not. You'll see Danny. I think it'd be nice to see the players, to be honest with you. It'll be a bit nice to see everybody again, the ones that have stayed. And then we've got Parkgate next week. We are next Thursday's episode. I'm going to call it now. We are recording a bit earlier at 7:00 next Thursday, because we're recording on location somewhere. So that may go badly. It may go well. We will see. So we'll see how that goes. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We've shot up last night, unsurprisingly, how many people going over there. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, 5-star rating, all that amazing stuff that you do already. Like I said, say hello if you see Danny, me or Mick tomorrow or at Parkgate next week. If you want to be involved in the post-match that we're trialling next week at Parkgate, let us know. We only need 1 or 2 people. It's not going to be 50 people there. So if 1 or 2 people want to let us know, and we'll see how that goes before rolling out full-time in the season. Mick, just if I be your agent, I'll get a cut of your fee at Wednesday, won't I?
Yeah. Well, the problem is, what you've got to understand is that my fee is Henderson's. I'm being paid in Henderson's. The rest of it, transfer fee goes to Rotherham, you see. Or either that or tuna. I'd rather smell a Henderson's, to be honest.
I'll find another Michael. It's fine. I'll find another Michael to try and sign. And Danny, always a pleasure. Are you back at Roundwood tomorrow?
I am. I am there 8 o'clock, 2. So if anyone fancies round of golf, come and say hello to me on the course.
Yeah, but just beware, Sam Todd or any media guys, Danny will be watching. So if you're trying to get us a player in secretly, put them under a coat or something. Danny will see them.
Sam Todd's going to be looking out of the door at Roundwood like a hawk, trying to see me now, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, brilliant. Thank you all. I hope you've had a lovely sunny few weathers, and we'll see you very, very soon. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Freddie's on one-on-one. Freddie's turning shoot. Can take a shot. Yeah!